So in this video, I'm going to go over how to determine how much stock is left to sell when in cases of dilution. And in this example, I'm going to go over MLGO, which I'm sure everybody knows because of this massive move that it had. And during this move, they actually announced that they would be diluting shareholders quite a bit. If I go into the dilution tab here, they have this, well, they have a couple convertible notes here, but basically, it can be converted at very favorable prices. In the press release, they had mentioned that it would be being converted at 80 cents a share, which would be 25 million shares. There's also this other convertible note, which wasn't the one that they were referring to in the press release, even though this was actually converted. I'm not going to go into all the details here about the difference between these two, but hop in our Discord room because I cover it there. But anyways, there's 25 million shares that they were going to convert. That was actually back on March 21st that they had mentioned that. So that was back here. Actually, it was funny. I did another video on this about how it was kind of like a big trap, them doing a press release on that because it made this huge move the next day. But anyways, with 25 million shares, with all the volume it traded, you would assume that that would be all eaten up, I guess. But I was waiting and paying very close attention to when their 20F filing would come out, because that would reveal how many shares are outstanding, basically to see what was left. Because, you know, when it had this gap up day just yesterday, it's good information to know. You want to know if there's still shares that they can sell. And so if you go into the 20F, there's two places where they indicate where the outstanding shares are. In the 20F, one is at the very beginning of the filing. In this case, they're saying what it was as of December 31st, 2024 is 13 million. But then the other section is in the major shareholders section, in the share ownership, where in this case, they'll say basically how many shares the insiders and 5% shareholders hold. And then they will also indicate how many shares are outstanding. And then here they say, as of April 25th, this was Friday, they had 24 million shares outstanding. So basically, you can conclude that just comparing the difference between the two share amounts and the dates, that since December 31st, about 12 million shares have been added. And that would, the only source that could come from is from the convertible note. So basically what that means is probably around 12 million shares were converted and sold and added to the float, which would leave basically around 13 million shares. So now here we are, and we have this gap up, and there's still 13 million shares to sell. So you can anticipate that that's likely what they're going to do using this PR to get some liquidity. And as you can see here, it had this fade here, and then it's continuing on.